Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So this is a quick video in response to a video I did a while back on moving from the foundation chain to the next row when creating a blanket. So I'm not going to rehash that video, but I am going to show you how to move from that first row to the second row and give you some tips on how to actually create your very first blanket. So if you're new here, my name is Felicia and I'm going to show you how to transition to the next row when you're crocheting. So this video that you're seeing right here is just the snapshot of what I showed you in that initial video when I was going from the foundation chain to the next row. So if you want details on that, please check out that video. I will link it here in the link. I'll link it here in the cards, the iCards. I'll also put it at the end of this video so you can kind of just click on it and see what that's all about. The goal here is for you to be able to create your very first blanket. So I'm going to move you from that first row to the second row, okay? So if you've finished watching that first video, you've probably gotten this far along where you're probably at the end of the row and you're wondering, what do I do next? Okay, of course yours is going to be longer because you're creating a blanket. I'm creating a sample. You want to make sure that you get a final stitch in the last stitch of the row. So that's important, okay? And if you remember, we were doing half double crochet stitches. And of course, you may not know all the terminologies or the different stitches, but what we created is a half double crochet stitch. So I'm going to show you how to move to the next row, okay? So in this case, we're going to do a chain of one. So that's just wrapping the yarn around your crochet hook, just like we've been doing, okay? And you're going to pull up, and that's going to create you a chain, okay? That chain right there that we created is not going to count as a stitch. It's just going to kind of move us to our next row, all right? Once you have that chain of one completed, you're going to turn your work. Turning your work really is just, guys, flipping the project over so that you're always working in the same direction, in this case from right to left, okay? In this first space in the row, you're going to do your half double crochet stitches. Now remember, you did this already in the first video. Once you've identified where you want to put the stitch, it's going to be a lot easier to work it. So if you're not sure where to place the next stitch, flip your work to the side where you can see kind of like loops. You'll see two loops, front loop and a back loop, also called a V. Okay, and then you're going to work in the holes underneath that V. So that's what I'm illustrating right here for you. You're going to yarn over or wrap the yarn around the crochet hook, find your first stitch, your first hole, and you're going to do that half double crochet stitch. Remember, yarn over, find your next available space. You can see the two loops at the top. You're going in the middle, yarn over and pull back through. Now I'm not showing you how to do a half double crochet because if you've gotten to this point, you've done a half double crochet a ton of times, okay? So just do half double crochets all the way down the row, okay? So again, just yarning over, finding that next available space. You see it there? And it all looks like holes when you're working and you're new to the project. But if you get confused, again, just turn it to the side and you'll be able to see the two loops go to the hole underneath the two loops, okay? And I'll show you guys this a few times because honestly, once you get the hang of this, you'll create your blanket easily, okay? And don't give up. I get a lot of people say, I tried, I gave up. Don't give up, guys. The first, the second, maybe even the third row. But after you get that initial down, you'll be able to keep going, okay? Because you'll start getting your tension right. You'll start getting comfortable. You'll be able to identify the stitch work easier. You can hold the hook however you want to, okay? That's all technique. It will come in time on you developing what works best for you. I do not crochet like a lot of crocheters. My technique is different, but I always get the project done, okay? So again, you see how that looks there? You want to make sure that that yarn goes up underneath the hook area. You want to yarn over and pull through all three loops. And again, I don't want to stress the half double crochet stitch because you've probably done it a bunch of times. But identify your stitches, identify your holes. Okay, that's really important. and you're looking top down, so that's why you're able to see the V stitches easily here. When it's in your hand, you're going to have to kind of turn the work so that it kind of, you can see the top, because when you're looking at the project, you're going to be looking right in the space you need to be working. But when you're but if you're trying to identify stitch, kind of turn your work, and then you'll see the 2 loops at the top, and you're going to go through the stitch at the bottom. Okay. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's how you complete the next row. This row and all the other rows are going to look the same. At the end of the row, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then do a half double crochet in the very first space or the very first hole in the row. Okay, here I'm just giving it a count. I will suggest to count as you go along, because when you're new to crocheting, the stitches are all going to look the same. Okay, so this is just going to be a repeat of what we just did. Same exact footage. I'm going to slow it down just a little bit so that you can see it. I won't talk you through it, but sometimes visuals help better than actual instruction. So just follow along with the screen. Again, I'll probably put some light music so that you can just watch. I'm going to slow the speed down just a little bit. And if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comment section, or follow me on Instagram, and then I can kind of help you get going. Okay? Okay guys, so that's pretty much it. This will get you started on your blanket. So just keep repeating row 2 through the entire blanket, counting your stitches every now and then as you work, so that way you have the same number in every row. And that should get you started. I used the Bernat Blanket Yarn. I used 11.5 millimeter crochet hook. And just remember, the size of the hook matters. A larger crochet hook, the more airy, lighter the blanket will be, more space in between the stitches. And then the smaller the hook, the more tighter or dense the blanket will be. I did 70 rows and I did a foundation chain of 70. So it's very simple. You can customize this blanket by just changing the foundation row and the number of rows that you create. Smaller blanket, you would use a shorter foundation chain, and you would decrease the rows. A larger blanket, a larger foundation chain, and more rows. So it can be customized, guys. If you have any questions about anything, again, leave them below, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.